Because I'm a storyteller and by nature as a psychologist, I'm a trained story listener, I began to listen as closely as I could to the girls and women who were showing up at our center with as much curiosity as I could muster and see if I could figure this out. And what I found was this. These girls and women were like the child in the story The Emperor's New Clothes, in that they could perceive subtle realities that others couldn't. They had an uncanny ability to see the invisible. And what I mean is they could read between the lines, see the bigger picture, perceive hypocrisy, and sense when things were not okay, even when everyone around them said they were just fine. But because their lives were not fairy tales, when they spoke up about what they were seeing, they were ignored or rejected, maybe ridiculed, and in some cases abused. Now, what every child wants, what all of us wants, is a sense of belonging, which we often confuse with fitting in. So what they had to do was dim their light, to diminish their capacity to perceive subtle realities that others couldn't see so they could fit in, which isn't the same as belonging, but it's the best a child can do. Belonging comes from feeling a kinship, a connection to others while you remain connected to your true self. Fitting in is when you abandon who you really are in an attempt to look like, feel like, think like, act like how you imagine others want you to look and feel and think and act. When you can perceive subtle realities that others cannot, it's easy to come to the conclusion that because you are different, there must be something wrong with you. So, where does food come in? Well, imagine this. Imagine you're driving down a road and you're starving or on a diet. Same thing. What's going to get your attention? Every restaurant, fast food place, that's how the mind is designed. You're going to be thinking about food, looking for food, food. And because of diet mentality, you're going to be thinking about the foods you are not supposed to have. That's what the mind is designed to do when your body is starving. Then that familiar thought comes up, there must be something wrong with me. And now you know what it is. You can't stop thinking about food. You want too much food too often. And because of that, you're too fat. Too fat? Lose weight. Now, as painful as it is to feel that way, at least you have a solution. And there is some relief in that. Now, imagine that you have a love-hate relationship with your mother, or you don't know how to make friends, or maybe your boyfriend ditched you, or you're on a career path that doesn't suit you. Now, these are problems that require a fairly complex set of skills to resolve, a skill set you may not have yet. So resolving these problems can be totally overwhelming. But if you're convinced that your real problem is that you are too fat, whatever that means, and think about food too much, all those problems will fade into the background.